well, right now. Good morning, Erin. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. It's a great morning, Chris.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited about this segment because the previous segment you were in the studio. Well, the two segments back you were in the studio, and then Heather from your team appeared on the air with us just a week or two ago, a couple weeks ago there, and I think she did a great job. Hopefully, you're pretty proud of you of her and your team there.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's just great to have a good team. I mean, you really can be made or broken as you know in terms of business, in terms of the people and on your team for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're looking forward to today's segment for those that are joining us and can hear this on the air. Well, you can also watch this on our Facebook pages, the WMOM Facebook page, the Hot Country Hits Facebook page, and we're streaming on YouTube also going forward and adding additional channels as we go along. We have our new video software package, and now, Aaron, wherever you are at. And we talked about this that at least Heather and I said, if he's in a jungle somewhere and he's breaking through these trails, maybe we can we can get him on the air. But you just got back from vacation, so welcome back, and
Thank you.
I'm sure you're eager to jump into things. Over the last few months now, we've talked and balanced things out between Erin Doan State Farm Insurance and putting that hat on, and also making sure that you're able to better yourself, your team, others around you, and that connection with the community. That's important to you, right?
It is. It really is kind of at a very values based depth for me. Just especially as you, let me just say, get a little bit older, and the experiences that you go through in terms of family and marriage and relationships, business, through your nonprofits or organizations in the community or at church. All these things really start to come together. And so, in terms of developing and trying to be your best person, that's an important part of kind of who I guess who I've always been. But it's just I kind of have a little bit more time, kind of with being empty nesters, and really kind of focusing on helping and developing, giving back to bringing others up and to do the best I can. Not as projects or an agenda at all, Chris, but just more so of like, can I make a difference? Can I help people be better themselves? Is there something that I can add, in my relationships?
Well, and you do that even at the school level.
Hmm.
You have, and this isn't something new for you. You
Yeah.
have, how many years have you been reading to students and interacting with them by going to the schools now?
Well, I started actually very early on, Chris. I didn't become in character from what we'll talk about here in a minute, but going back actually very early on, I have the newspaper clipping from I think 2004 or five, actually reading in the schools in March, and there were some years that didn't occur, but been pretty consistent in my new character role in the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you mind us starting the segment with that? Because I think
No,
you have.
let's do it because I think it'll get everybody kind of fired up, and it's still March in terms of National Reading Month, so we can
Yeah.
do it.
Absolutely. Take us through that experience recently about being in the classroom. Do you? I would assume that the educators and the schools, in this particular case, I think MCC was a school that you went to, and they kind of just expect Aaron Doan to be there, right?
Yeah, it's actually been fun because lately I'm doing almost every district. I haven't added MCE or Pentwater and been out of the county or anything like that, but consistently with Mesa County Central and Ludington Elementary, lower elementary schools, typically somewhere between the kindergarten and second grade years is who I read to every year. So just being a part of that, and giving in some ways the teachers a little bit of a break, but also just really engaging closely with the students. And then one fun thing I do at the end that I think is super important, and I know the teachers absolutely love it, is I turn the kids around. I said, "You guys turn toward your teachers, look at them. I want you guys to know how much they love you.
Hmm.
how hard they work each and every day to get here early, stay late, and take care of you and do everything they can to teach you and make you better persons. And I said, let's give them a round of applause and a big, huge thank you. And so get all the kids clapping and looking at the teachers. And the teachers sometimes go, oh, like this. They cross their arms and they do the heart thing. Like, so I really know it touches them. And I don't know where I came up with that, Chris. I just felt like, you know what? We got to recognize these teachers and have the students and parents, and all of us, and even at the at large community and people that are listening and watching today, like teachers are really, really grinding it out in terms of trying to help in our schools in Mason County and in Michigan and the US, just trying to make good future Americans kind, thoughtful. They're doing more than just teaching them, how to write and read. So that's a powerful, powerful thing.
Absolutely. What do you personally take away from it? Do you ever sit back, on the drive home
Mhm,
or back to the
mhm.
office and kind of contemplate what your experience is?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing in that space is that it's just a heartfelt connection to people. Relationships are important, and we're built to interact. I mean, what we've kind of come through in COVID, and on the other side of that is, work from home and do so many things with technology, which is great. Let's use the technology, but there's also this person to person connection. And so when I am reading to these students, I am down right in their space, in character, and right on their level, and just trying to connect to them, human to human, eyeball to eyeball, belly to belly, and just try to make their day just a little bit better at that moment. Give them some positivity and energy, so that they can just feel like good young people, good young students.
Well, and you must love doing that. You
Oh yeah.
continue to do it year after
Oh,
year.
for sure.
You had mentioned about thank yous
Mhm,
that the students gave to the teachers, but
mhm.
you had received some too that we're putting up on the screen there. When you received these, and it looks like the students really went all out for this. What was your reaction to see some of these?
100% heartwarming, for them to just even take the time and the teachers to, have them do a drawing and say thank you. It says a lot about, that, hey, our students are being taught well. This is an important thing that we need to connect with. For you to take your time and energy to write a little note to a friend or to somebody who's made a difference in your life and actually handwrite it, to draw it, that's a powerful connectivity, and it just warmed my heart for sure to get those thank yous. Not expecting it, but super cool to get them, and saving them. I've got others from prior years, and they're like in a little bin, and somebody will pull them out someday, maybe when I retire, and put them on a wall or who knows what, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I know you're based on your reaction, you're pretty proud of what you're able to do and connect with them. Reading month doesn't have to necessarily end at the end of March. Obviously, that's something that you're encouraging going forward, and you do that by connecting with so many in the community. Your staff is has stepped up so much, and I would assume that when you have those conversations, when you've returned back from the schools, they're excited to hear those stories, to be able to share what they can do in the community. What does Erin Doan State Farm Insurance as a whole look like after all these years of doing these acts of kindness in the community?
Yeah, I think it's a heartbeat of who we are. When we're in an insurance business, that is kind of what we provide as a service to the community, and needed 100%. And you have to have insurance, right? But I think for us, it's just the heartbeat is, what are we doing to improve and protect and encourage and educate our local community members? So we all strive locally not only to be in that space, to like be in community events, to give back financially and give back, sacrificially, and really trying to increase giving to local schools, to local nonprofits, charities, parachurch organizations, and missionaries, all sorts of things in our local community to just try to give back, with our money as well as our time. So, in terms of just the team getting better, there we really work hard on, reading nonstop. There's so many changes that come through insurance and financial services that we're having to spend, a great amount of time to maintain our licenses. All four of my full-time team members are licensed, and we have to do continuing ed every couple of years. And just the ongoing training is very important for us to know and help our local communities and our insureds. Here's what you need to know. Here's some of the things. And so we look at it from what I would refer to as a risk management standpoint. Like, we are risk managers in our community.
What's the toughest part of staying on top of that training, that education? Is it that there's so many things that are sometimes out of your control that change, maybe from the legislature standpoint, or what is that? What is that makes it tough when it comes to that?
Yeah, I think it's a mindset, being consistently resilient, and being once we're being resilient in that space, is just trying to make sure that we understand, like, this matters. But I think the tough part of that is just having to be always consistent and always be in training, and it's an ongoing thing, and it's a mind over matter thing. Like, you have to, like, take it in. Like, we have to be really, really good in this space. We have to understand and know better than, obviously better than consumers, but better than our competition. State Farm is known, the agency force of over 19,000 across the country, is being really good at teaching and educating people about what they are doing in the insurance and financial world. Like, what are they doing? Why are they doing it? Why is it important? And understanding where people are coming from to protect the needs that are most important to them. And there's sometimes that they don't even know that it's a need or a protection. They're like, "Oh my gosh, I forgot that we don't even have coverage in that area." And I think that's where the training and the challenges of constantly have to be making ourselves better, just as a mind over matter mindset.
Absolutely. Well, you have what, four full-time staff
For
members?
full-time people.
Okay. And
Yeah.
constantly making sure that they're on their game.
hmm
Before we went on the air, switching gears for just a moment here, you had I believe, a top 10 list, or a list where, and we chatted a little bit about it at the start of this segment, of the overall bettering, from your four staff members there, your four full timers there, to you personally, to those that you interact with. And I think that that says a lot when somebody's out there and they're looking for insurance, when they're looking for advice. Uh, you're not just there to say, "Hey, how much can I charge this person?" or bill this person out. You want to be able to make sure that people are able to save, that they are able to prosper. And this morning, I think, taking a few minutes and talking a little bit about that, about improving yourself and those around you, that's crucially important to, not just the insurance side of things, but overall as a human being in your mind, right?
Yeah, I think realizing there's some key characteristics that I think is important that we talk about when Chris, as we've talked about this year, and I'll give you a couple of them that kind of gets our juices flowing as we, get closer to wrapping up. I think one of the areas is self-awareness. Just, where are you currently in March of 2025? In terms of your education, in terms of your understanding of your job, in terms of where you are at in your marriage or your family, and just understanding where your strengths and weaknesses are, and start to work toward better self-awareness of where you're at, so that you can start to make, just, I'd like to be here over the next few months. And don't, an Aaron Doanism is, don't try to eat an elephant all in one bite. Take one bite at a time to get better. So that's probably one of the biggest ones. And then I think from there is like, okay, seek help. Where am I going to, go to this? Is there somebody I know personally, that could help me like do some evaluation of myself, understanding where I'm at in certain skills or abilities and where I'm at in terms of my relationships, and seek, a pastor, seek a counselor, have therapy, seek a business person or somebody at the hospital or the education system, and get a mentor. Having a mentor will, and like I'm trying to be mentored and I'm trying to mentor others. So I think understanding kind of where you're at and have confidence as you take each step, and a positive self-image. Just that's hard, easier said than done, but just give your best each day when you get up in the morning to make it the best day that you can. And then I think the last one for today would be really good is just relationships matter. So as you work to develop yourself, really kind of think about how can I have better relationships? What do I need to do in communication? What do I need to do to have better empathy and understanding of where this other person's coming? Seek to understand in our society the differences that we all have. If we seek to understand the differences, we'll better grasp like how we can, be in good relationships with people that aren't like us, that don't agree. We don't have the same agreements and or maybe values, but we can seek to understand. I think that's an important thing to do in our community, and make the world a better place.
Absolutely. How before we wrap up, I haven't asked this question of you on the air, but I know faith is a big part of the not only the behind the scenes, but the forefront of your life too.
Mhm.
But how does that intertwine with with these principles?
Yeah, I think for me, it makes all the difference in the world. I mean, when I look at, looking at God, and knowing there's a supreme being in the world, and just knowing, what Christ did on the cross, that element of having faith, I think makes everything else seem to work. When I put God at the top of all my priorities in terms of everything that I do, physically, psychologically, emotionally, mentally, at work, at home, put God at the top of everything. And I'm not perfect. I screw it up a lot. But if the priorities are God, then family, then friends, and believe it or not, we're talking about insurance in my business, then work, that's a really good, I believe, over a lot of years of experience with these little gray hairs. That's what starts to make a difference. Put God at the center of your wheel of your life, with all the different spokes and components of a pie, if you will. If God's at the center, it really starts to bring everything else together. Life just seems to go better. So if you're lost or struggling, like, I don't even know where to start in that space. Again, like I mentioned earlier, just start small. Like, okay, who is God? What is faith? Like, I've never even been around this before. Just take a deep breath. Seek somebody you might know that maybe in your circle or you've heard of, or you kind of have a sense has a spiritual part of their life, and seek them out.
Hmm, good message there. Let's wrap up on that, and then we'll connect in a couple weeks. By the way, nice to be able to connect with you in your
Yeah.
office there,
Yeah.
and hopefully after we're done, your team gives you some high fives because the message is important. We aren't just talking about insurance; we're talking about life skills and morals in life, and being able to take each step feeling strong
Mhm.
and looking at that. So, Aaron, we appreciate all that you do, all that you are as a mentor in the community, being able to, just be able to give some advice this morning. And of course, we wouldn't do justice if we didn't say this, that you do wear multiple hats. And I think you have a hat somewhere around there. Oh, yeah, there it is.
The
uh,
man in the yellow hat.
absolutely.
And
Well,
oh,
that's
look, hold on, one more.
okay.
Okay, last one.
Oh, there
There
you
he
have.
is, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's
Gotta have
pretty
Curious George. And I always tell the kids his first name is Curious.
curious. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool. Well, we're glad that you shared that with you, and the hat of the insurance agent as well. If somebody wants to reach out to you, how do they do that to reach out? Well, or they could reach out to Curious, but I think they want to connect with you
Yeah,
first.
exactly.
How do they do that?
Yeah, so we don't monkey around here at my agency. Sorry, I couldn't resist.
Yeah.
So when I don't have this hat on, I am a good neighbor, State Farm agent. We are between Ludington and Scottsville on US 10, on the highway on the north side of the road near Muffler Man, just past Meyer, about a half a mile. So you can walk in the office. We're open 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. You can find us at ludingtoninsurance.com, or you can call us. Again, we're open. If the phones are busy, it's because we're all on the phone. And that does happen quite a bit, which is a good problem to have. But you
It's
can reach us at 231-757-3115.
all right, Aaron. Thank you so much, and we'll connect with you in just a couple weeks. How's that?
Sounds great. Thank you.
All
Appreciate it.
right. All right. It is